In 2008, a man named Reiki moved to a new city. He didn't know anyone in this city, so he felt very lonely in his new home. So he decided to get a pet. While looking through the local newspapers, he saw an advertisement for a shelter where he could adopt a pet. She found the address and went there immediately. There were many dogs in the shelter, but she chose a black Labrador. The dog's name was Ray. The man was happy and took the dog home. At first, everything went wrong. The new owner didn't seem to get along with the dog. They told him that the black lab was named Ray and that it might take some time for him to get used to his new home. I decided to wait 2 weeks to see if the dog's behavior would change. Yes, it might be hard for him to adjust, so I had to be patient. When they gave me Ray, they gave me his bed, toys, and a letter from the previous owner. They also said that the dog was well trained and obeyed commands. I thought we would become good friends in a few days, but it didn't work out that way. Ray wouldn't do anything I told him, and it was as if he didn't even know his name. He couldn't go on like this. He was chewing on my shoes and empty boxes. Maybe I had been a little too restrictive and he resented me. I was about to call the shelter and return the dog. And while I was trying to find the shelter's phone number, I found a letter written by the previous owner. I decided to read the letter to see if there was any advice on how to deal with the dog. There was a surprise waiting for me in the letter. It read exactly as follows. Ray's new owner, whoever you are, this letter is for you. I can't say I'm glad you read this letter. In fact, I'm sorry I had to write it. These are the last moments I'll spend with my Labrador in the car. I will drop him off at the shelter soon. He felt that something was wrong and that this was the last time we would be together. I used to take his toys and his bed with us when we went on vacation, but this time he knew something was wrong. I have to leave him there. Here are a few things to help me have a good time with my Labrador. He loves tennis balls. He has so many toys. Sometimes I think he looks like a squirrel when he puts 2 balls in his mouth at once. But despite his best efforts, he has never been able to hold all 3 in his mouth at the same time. He runs off looking for the ball, not caring where he threw it. So be careful, don't play with him near traffic. I made such a mistake once. It almost cost him his life. Secondly, they probably told you from the shelter. Ray understands sit, get up, come. When I was training him, I always rewarded him with delicious sandwiches when he did what I said. Fried fish is especially good for him. He loves fish, so you can try that too. I'll write on the back of the letter how to get along with him, but first I need to tell you some important things. His name isn't really Ray. I don't know why I gave him a false name when I dropped him off at the shelter. I couldn't tell him his real name. I guess I wanted to keep something special between us. I wanted only me to know his real name. If they used his real name at the shelter, it would mean I was letting him go for good. I wanted to believe that everything would be okay and I'd come back and get him, and we'd be back to the way we were. Ray is a very gentle and intelligent dog. I'm sure he will react to his new name. But if you're reading this letter now, something may have gone wrong. I think you should know his real name. If you know his real name, maybe you can solve your problems with him. His name is Tang, because I am a Tang driver. If you live around here, you might have heard my name on the news. I warned the shelter not to adopt the dog without hearing about me. My parents are already dead and I am an only child. The only thing I requested before I left for Iraq was that if anything happened to me, the shelter would be notified. Fortunately, my commander said he would take care of it personally. If you are reading this letter, then he has kept his promise. This letter is getting more and more depressing. It's about my dog, but I would feel the same way if it was about my wife or my children. Tang was my real family, just like the army. I hope that now he will become part of your family and love you as he loved me. I will leave all these letters at the shelter and leave tonight. I won't have the chance to say goodbye to Tang again. It makes me happy to know that even if I die, my dog will be safe. Feed and love him in a safe place. Goodbye, Paul Mederick. When I finished the letter, I folded it carefully and put it back in the envelope. Of course, I had heard of this man. Everyone in town knew him, even newcomers like me. A few weeks ago, he sacrificed himself to save 3 lives in Iraq. I looked at my new dog and said quietly, Tang, come. His ears perked up and his eyes lit up. He got up and started running towards me. I petted the dog and repeated his name, and he was so happy. He finally felt better and relaxed. What do you say? Shall we be friends? Tang, you're not alone. Your old owner will always be with you. The dog climbed into my lap and licked my cheek. Do you want to play ball? You do, don't you? The dog wagged its tail and ran into the other room. When he returned, he had 3 tennis balls in his mouth. Many people say that there is nothing worse than taking in an adult dog, because they're sure they won't get used to a new place. But that's not fair. Everyone deserves a chance for a new life. Don't forget to share your feelings with others. You can do this by sharing this video on social media.